tomorrow we have some very special friends of ours coming over for dinner, and we're going to treat them to a Greek style leg of lamb. It's about 9 o'clock at night. We're going to debone our leg of lamb, and then we're going to put a rub on it. So I'm going to have my butcher come in, and he's going to debone this lamb leg for me, and then we're going to put the rub on it.
Hey guys, I'm the butcher. Here's what we're going to do. This is the leg as we got it from the butcher. This is probably how it's going to look when you get it from the store or the butcher shop. First thing we need to do is get rid of the H-bone, which is a fancy term for the pelvis. When they cut this, they cut it off, cut the leg off with a saw, and then cut the pelvis. But there's a chunk of bone right here that we need to get rid of. Get a small, get a fillet knife, small paring knife, something like that. This needs to come off before we start dealing with it. So, just stay close to the bone, and we're just slowly pulling that bone away from the leg roast. That chunk comes off. You can save that for stock or something like that. This is what the leg's gonna look like. You have a bone that goes from basically the knee up to the hip, and that's the only bone you want in this whole roast. We got some chunks of fat or fascia, whatever you want to call it here. We're going to trim that off, and I think we're ready to get started on the scoring and the rub. See you in a minute. Okay, so we have our leg. We've taken the H-bone off. This is this is what you're looking for when it comes to a leg of lamb when you're getting ready to roast it. So we want to score this to let the flavors that we're gonna add later get deep into the meat. As far as this side goes, we're gonna do the same thing. So we're gonna score this and get it ready for the rub. So bone runs like this. We want a checkerboard pattern all the way through it. So we're gonna cut this way. Cut about 1/2 to 3/4 inch in, about 2 inches apart. I don't know why I chose that, it just works out well for me. Okay, and now 90 degrees to those. You can do it again, 2 inches apart. Okay, so we got a checkerboard pattern all the way through this. We're gonna flip it over, line up with the bone again, go 90 degrees to the bone, 2 inches apart. We're not going super deep, but enough that our flavorings are going to be infused into it. Okay, and then 90 degrees to that. Come over 2 inches, do it again. Okay, now we have this checkerboard pattern all over the meat, and we're ready to go for seasoning.
Hey everyone, so this is all the ingredients for our Greek style rub that's going to go on our lamb leg. So we have a 1/2 cup of extra virgin olive oil, we have 1/3 cup of minced garlic, we have 1/4 cup of lemon juice, we have 2 tablespoons of rosemary, 2 tablespoons of oregano, we have 1 tablespoon of thyme, we have a 1/2 tablespoon of kosher salt and 1/2 tablespoon of black pepper. So we're gonna mix all of this together and we're gonna whisk it up really nice. If you have an immersion blender, that works really well too. You don't have to use a whisk, but we're just gonna go old school on this one. And then once we mix it all together, we're gonna rub it into the scoring that is on our lamb leg, and let's see how this turns out. And it smells so good. Oh my gosh, this is one of my favorite recipes for lamb. If you've ever had anybody tell you they don't like lamb, they've never had good lamb. Just whisk it together until everything looks like it's hydrated. All right, that looks about the consistency that we want. If you can see that, it looks a little soupy. It's perfect. It smells divine. So we're gonna take this. Now, ladies, you're gonna get your hands dirty, and trust me, it is so worth it. So we're gonna take this, we're gonna pour it over, and just work it in. You really wanna get it into your scoring, because the longer it sits down deep in there, the better your flavor is gonna be. And you're gonna roll it over. So you wanna make sure you get it all in the ends and around. And you can't really put too much on here. I mean, that's kind of a ridiculous assumption if you ask me. We're just gonna pour the rest of that on there. Okay, so as you can see, our lamb leg is completely coated in our rub. And we are gonna let this sit with the rub on for at least 12 hours. You really want it to just sink in the fridge. We're gonna cover it with some cellophane, and we're just gonna basically forget we own it until until tomorrow, until dinner time. So stay tuned, because this is gonna be absolutely beautiful. All right guys, so here is our leg of lamb with our Greek rub on it. We started this last night at about 8:45. It is now 1 o'clock in the afternoon. We just took it out of the fridge. So we're gonna roll it over, and we're gonna put the rub and the olive oil back over it that is settled in the pan. And then we're gonna let it sit here for about an hour to come to room temperature. And then we're going to, in the words of my husband, baptize it in fire and sear it nicely. And then we're gonna slow roast it.
Okay, we are now searing the leg of lamb. I just threw some chunks of wood down into my charcoal grill, and we're going to get a good crust all the way around it. Keep moving it around. After we get a good sear all the way around it, we'll take it to the pellet grill at 350.
Alright guys, it's been about an hour and 45 minutes on the grill. We seared it and smoked it before this, and now we're going to let it rest for 10 minutes before we cut into it. It smells amazing and it looks really good.
Well, the leg of lamb was a definite crowd pleaser. It was definitely worth the team effort. Sorry the video's a little chopped up, but it turned out great anyway.
For this and many other recipes, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and visit us at DutchDelectables.com for all of our recipes and ingredients. Have a good evening.